Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You and I, Imi, we just recorded a podcast 30 seconds ago over for my Spotify channel. And I feel like it was so decent and it ended up being interesting enough that we thought we would put it here, the audio here on YouTube, so all of you can listen to it. We talked about like what we've been going through lately, some cool, interesting stuff about the coaching program and my clients. Something really fucking cool happened recently with a whole bunch of like old clients, and it's kind of in the title, so you probably can guess it. Talked about sex and dating and just a whole bunch of interesting stuff.
Yeah, just a little life update.
Yeah, I thought it was worth showing here. So, by the way, if you're not watching my Spotify or listening to my Spotify channel, I have plenty more content over there. Sometimes I share it over here on the YouTube channel, but usually not. So, without any further ado, hope you enjoy this audio. And if you don't enjoy it, then
That's okay
that's
too.
amazing too. Enjoy it if you want to. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Andy here. I'm joined with Imi as well.
Hi.
Hello. And we're
Hello.
going to do a little update video, talk about what we've been up to, kind of a chill episode, life update. What have you been up to, my lovely girlfriend of 6.13 years?
Is 6.13 correct? I don't think it is.
Probably.
But
Right, while you tell us what you've been up to, I'm going to actually calculate how long we've been together.
sure. Well, recently I've gotten a new little side job as an art teacher, and that has been a lot of fun. It was a spur of the moment sort of thing. I just responded to a flyer that I saw in a gallery, and it all kind of just happened, and it worked out quite well. And I've been really enjoying that because I haven't really worked for someone for quite a few years because I've been working on the business.
Yeah, you're a wage slave now.
But
You got a
it's
real man's job.
really fun and I've been really enjoying it. And it's something that I've said to you, Auntie, and a few people when I've spoken about it is that a lot of the time I can see my young self in these kids. I I can see the really insecure part. They often ask like, is this good? Do you think I'm doing a good job? Or they'll say they're not doing a good job.
Hmm.
And a lot of what I'm doing is just reassuring and kind of mentioning that art can be whatever you want. And obviously, if you're trying to produce something that's technically proficient, then there's things that can be worked on. But generally speaking, art's meant to be about having fun. And I've had a few conversations with you, Andy, about how it feels like it's a form of coaching in
Like
a
you're
way.
coaching these kids, yeah.
Yeah. And if anything, all of the stuff that we've been doing for a few years and the stuff that you and I have worked together on, a lot of that seems to apply. And I can kind of throw in small little bits and pieces when I talk to these kids. And it's funny because I used to have a job as a swimming teacher, and I definitely didn't have the same level of patience or love for it all. And I think this time around, I'm just having a great time.
Yeah, you've evolved a lot as a person over the last 6 years. Like, I think you and I don't take it for granted, but like maybe the audience might, like, because people didn't know you 6 years ago. I've watched you change and grow and develop, and you've watched me grow a lot.
Mm.
And, a lot of you listening right now, you might have only come to the podcast or maybe watched the YouTube channel as well. You might have only been here for a little while. And you might not know how much Imogen evolved and changed and grew and you've become a lot more loving, a lot more confident, a lot more able to coach people. Do you
Mm.
remember how many conversations we had where you were like, I don't think I'd ever want to coach someone or mentor them or give to other people, like in that way?
Sure. And I don't think I'd ever go out and create my own coaching business.
Hmm.
This still feels a little bit different to me, I think, because I'm getting to do art with kids. I don't necessarily want to sit on calls and help people work through shit like a
Sure, but
counselor.
now you're
But
just talking about the medium rather than the actual like meat and bones of it. You're saying I don't want to do it as a medium of like on a YouTube channel or in coaching. It's like, yeah, but my point was that you have this. I feel like everyone, when they get to a point where they're really happy in their own life, they want to give back to other people. It just seems to be a universal thing. And I knew
mm,
you'd get to that point.
bless you.
I just sneezed really loud on the podcast. Let's power through. Go. Respond to what I just said. I knew you'd get to a point where you wanted to give to other people. I think everybody does.
Sure. Inherently, like we want to give in some ways. Like throughout my life, I still give to like family and friends and things like that.
Yeah, but when you're not quite happy in your own life or when you have causes for unhappiness, it's a lot harder to give love to other people and to really be there for them and listen. Like you said, you're finding it a lot easier to just sit and give some love to these kids and be like, you guys are doing a great job.
Yeah, and so that's been a really positive thing for me. Are there any updates from you, Andy?
Nah, no updates from me. I got nothing interesting to talk about. Yeah, I've had a few clients sign up recently that have been really interesting. One of them in particular, one guy, we talked a lot about David Hawkins and the map of consciousness, which, if none of you are familiar, probably the easiest way to get into that, either buy the book called Letting Go by David Hawkins or buy my Play to Win video course. And I have a chapter in there on the map of consciousness and what it means and how it applies to your life and how it's kind of a hidden determinant for everything you do in your life that you're not even aware of right now. Like it's affecting you right now and you're not even aware of it. You could say that about a lot of psychology stuff. A lot of people are not very self-aware. I'd say most people, the vast majority of human beings on the planet are not really self-aware. It's something you have to learn. And nobody really teaches it to you in school. They don't teach you stoicism. They don't teach you self-awareness. They don't really teach you psychology or how the brain works. They teach you how rain clouds are formed and how mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. And they teach you about different types of volcanic rock and why it's bad to fucking mummify yourself in the Egyptian times, and that's about all they tell you. But
I was going to say have unprotected sex, but
Oh,
I guess
man.
they tell that one too.
how much did your school go on and on and on about like sex and STDs? I was fucking terrified of sex after going through the school system.
That was like the intention, I believe.
I know. And it's like, just because y'all aren't getting some action doesn't mean the rest of us have to be fucking weird about sex. It's like we got put through this like training or this propagandizing of like seeing sex as this weird thing. No wonder people are weird about sex when you go through that. You could say it's self-reinforcing because everyone's weird about sex. That's what they teach the kids. And then kids grow up going, sex is weird and scary and dangerous. So then they teach that to the next generation. No one's doing it on purpose, obviously. But anyway, side note. So listen,
Hey.
speaking of shame around sex and all of that. Yeah, this new client that I've been working with, or one of the new clients, we had big conversations about the map of consciousness and how he's sitting kind of down the bottom of the map a lot of times and feeling guilt and shame and those sort of less helpful emotions or those less empowering emotions. And he's someone that has a lot of shame around basically everything in his life, around his lack of a social life, around his lack of a life, around his lack of friends, all of that kind of stuff. And I think a lot of you listening probably feel the same way. I hear that a lot from people is like, not only will you state, I'm not happy with my life, or I'm not happy with my goals or any of that, but then you feel shame about it on top of that. You're like, and that's a bad thing. You know, I'm a loser. I shouldn't be like this. I should be better. Like that guilt tripping and that shame. And so I basically just been teaching this guy, hey, we can kind of throw away the shame a little bit, or we can notice the shame and just see that like shameful part, that part of you that wants to feel shame and shameful, and just go, that's okay. It's okay that I feel a bit of shame, but I'm going to take action anyway. It's okay that I feel like a loser and I don't feel like I'm worthy to walk up to women and say hello to them, but I'm going to do it anyway and just see what happens. So he's been having like beautiful experiences so far. He's only been in the coaching group for like 2 days and he's already hit on a woman and he hadn't done that for years. Like this is a guy, I think he said he hasn't had sex in like, I might be misremembering, but I think he said it's been like 6 years or something. And we get clients like that who haven't had sex in years and years and years. And then they obviously feel, you know, a lot of you will feel a lot of shame about that. There's nothing to be ashamed about. You just haven't had sex in several years. That's it. It's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It just is what it is. And then if you want to go and meet some women, go outside and talk to them. You might be rusty. You might be nervous. You might feel like a loser. That's okay. All of that's okay. You do it anyway. So yeah, it's been fun working with him.
Yeah, and there's something that I really love that every time there is somebody new or people working on stuff that I also end up hearing about it because you and I talk about it. And
yeah, so many of my coaching clients wouldn't know that like you're a big part of the coaching. Like you and I have so many conversations and you'll give me so much great advice that I'll then pass on to them. Like you'll very much help me with coaching. Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously the clients will know that if they ever need something admin wise, they'll be emailing me.
Yeah,
I'll be
people
responding to
yeah,
them.
yeah.
But that's probably the only part of them that, or part of me that they necessarily see. But I feel like a lot of the time I know all this stuff about them because we talk about it, and sometimes we'll even talk about ideas or like things that your clients are working on and concepts that might help them, all of that sort of stuff. And so it's really cool. I actually remember quite a little while ago you did the live stream for like the threesome video course. And they were like,
as in when I was recording for the threesome video course. That was a long time ago, yeah.
yeah, and I was on the call because
Yeah.
I needed to help out with the tech side of things to make sure everything was running smoothly, and I actually got to hear a lot of the voices from the clients.
Yeah,
And
it's funny to me that you don't always know what the clients look like. You don't see their face, you don't hear their voice. Yeah.
yeah, and sometimes like you might show me a photo or I see the interview where clients are on camera, but that's quite rare, and so a lot of the time I was very surprised
At what they look like.
what they sounded like on that particular call actually. And I think sometimes I maybe forget they're all very American.
Yeah,
'Cause
most of you listening are American. There's lots of European people. We have
yeah,
like two British people in the group right now, a European. Yeah, but like 80% of the audience is American.
yeah, and obviously we're Australian, and so you just get used to hearing one thing and then hearing these like very, very American people, sometimes like quite southern.
Yeah.
It's a little bit jarring, but cool.
Yeah.
And I like being a part of all of this, I guess, and it can be a nice time to acknowledge that I'm really grateful, and there's some really special stories, and
Yeah, a lot of great people in the coaching group for sure over the years as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I showed you a photo recently. For everybody listening, lots of my coaching clients. So part of the coaching group is once you're done with coaching, we have a members only community that you get to stay in for the rest of your life. And it's basically a coaching group for the rest of your life. And everybody keeps each other accountable. They have like twice weekly calls, like coaching calls, where everybody will coach each other. And they will meet up with each other. We've had some people literally move to different countries together and live together. We've had a bunch of people that live together through the coaching community. Like literally when you join the coaching group, you're part of a fucking community. And recently a whole bunch of them met up in New York and took a photo together. And there was like, 15 people in this photo. And one of the guys showed it to me, like sent it to me and said, hey, look, here's this photo of all of us. We did a meetup and we all wanted to express gratitude to you, Andy, and say thank you for making this amazing, coaching community and all of this. And it kind of brought a tear to my eye because it's like I was looking at people there that I just finished. Some of them I had just finished the coaching with like 2 months ago. And then some of the guys, I coached them like 3 years ago and they're in that photo. And so it was such a like wild, nostalgic, like trip down memory lane. And I can remember vividly every single one of their stories and like how they were when they first came to the group and they were so unsure of themselves and scared and timid and nervous and, not sure if they made a right decision or if they'd just given a bunch of money to some bold retard on the internet and it wasn't going to work out. And then they'd gone through all that and I'd watched them take their first baby steps going outside and talking to women or starting a business or going to the gym or learning to love themselves or working on whatever it is that they were working on. And then I saw them come out the other side of the coaching a completely different man or a completely different woman and so much more capable and so much more just happy and peaceful and loving to others around them. And getting to see all of that in one picture, it was quite emotional in a beautiful way. It was really, really, really cool. And I think we do have a pretty special like way that you and I pay the bills.
Yeah.
And Cam as well. Like we help him pay his bills too. I think it's pretty special that like we get to watch people's or be part of people's journey, and then they message us 3 years later, or they send us a photo 3 years later. We've said this story as well. This is kind of a cool little tidbit that right now in the coaching group, there are my original 3 clients came back to me. And so these are clients that I worked with like 4 years ago. One of them I'm working with one-on-one right now. He came back after like 3 years or 4 years and he's like, hey man, like, can you coach me again? I know your coaching is like fucking 10 times what I paid for it, but that's cool. It's worth it.
But
Let's
like
do
he's
it.
got some new goals and like
Yeah, this guy's doing big, beautiful things. There's another guy in the members only community section who was like my second client. And then one of my oldest clients, Ed, is a coach in my coaching program. So I work with Ed all the time. I see Ed literally every day. We coach everyone together. So it's like, and then Cam was like my 4th client. So like you can technically say my first 4 clients are either being coached by me right now, or they're coaches in my coaching program alongside me, or they're in the coaching like members only group and they're active in there. So that's really fucking cool. Like I don't know if that's a common thing. Like you go see a psychologist or you see a coach and then 4 years later, their original 4 clients are either working with them or in them. Like I think what we have here is pretty special. Maybe the only thing or the other thing that comes to mind that's like that is Mr. Beast's YouTube channel. And this guy's at like 300 something million subscribers now. His original friends are pretty much all in his content now. Like Chandler, I forget the names of all his other friends. God, Chandler's like the only one I know. I know their faces.
Mm.
The southern one that became trans, the guy that became a girl trans, I forget his or her name. Anyway, I can't remember the fucking people's names. But yeah, they're all there. So I think it's a testament that I think we're on the right path with like, we're doing something right. It feels like that. I think more than anything, we just give lots of love to our client. And that's probably what most of you were wanting, is just to be loved and listened to and understood and helped. And yeah, I think we're doing a decent job.
And I think it's been really special that you've been able to see these people evolve over so many years. And at least I get the impression that, especially some of these previous clients, they're not really going anywhere. So,
What do you mean they're not going anywhere?
like, they're not going to leave anytime soon.
But they are
Not-
going.
they're going.
Yeah, no, that sounded
Sorry,
real funny.
yeah,
They're not really going anywhere. They sign up for a coaching program. They've been there for years, and they're just
No,
not,
they're doing amazing things, but they're not necessarily going to stop being a part of the community. And so it's, I guess, exciting to think about where they might be in a couple of years from now, how they might grow as people.
Yeah.
And it's something that you and I have said a few times. We've put off traveling for a little while because we would like to keep on building the business and like to be able to travel without maybe some of the financial stress and have things be a little bit more consistent so we can actually enjoy that and I guess just enjoy it. But something that I think I would really love, and I get the impression that you would too, is actually going probably to the States.
United States of America.
Meeting some of the clients. I think that would be pretty cool. Like, I haven't even met Cam. Like, I've obviously spoken to him and been on Zoom calls.
Have you not met Cam?
No, I've never met him.
Because you guys speak all the fucking time. Because
I have to like message him for work stuff, yeah.
Yeah, to be clear, like Cam does a lot for our business, and so do you, obviously. Like you and I run the business together. We could just say you and I and Cam run the business together. It's probably a fair way of saying it. And yeah, you guys talk to each other all the fucking time. Yeah, I didn't realize you hadn't met him. Yeah, I mean, I've met him like, I don't know, like 10 times.
And that was all in Melbourne years ago.
Yeah.
Because he's traveling all around now. So
yeah, he's talked about moving to where we are right now. For anybody listening, we live on the Gold Coast, which is a city in Queensland in Australia, near the beach. Beautiful city. And Cam has been talking about like moving here at some point, so maybe he will.
Who knows?
Like staying here for a year. But yeah, working with clients, enjoying all of that. That's been really beautiful.
Yeah. I guess other updatey things, and this is maybe not as related to the business, or actually something for you. You're quitting caffeine again. And
yeah, I'm already off caffeine, yeah. Well, okay, I have like a Diet Coke a day, like a can of Diet Coke, and that has some caffeine in it, but I'm going to work on like having none of that as well, yeah. Quitting caffeine.
It's funny, at the same time
quit alcohol.
Yeah.
Quitting porn, yeah.
At the same time, I was actually speaking to somebody yesterday, an instructor at my pole studio, and she was doing the same thing with quitting caffeine. And speaking to her about it, she was saying that it's one of those things that you don't realize how reliant you are on it. And often, I think when people have the habit, it can definitely escalate. Like, it almost gives you permission for your sleep cycle to
100%.
worsen. And
you neglect your sleep because I can fix it tomorrow with caffeine, so it's fine.
Care less and less and less, and you just have that little bit more and more and more caffeine each time. And then at some point, you're like, oh, this is a lot, and this probably isn't good for me. And the way that she started it, she was saying her gym, there was just like a health kick challenge, and it was pretty full on. But one of the things, which is not actually something you hear a lot, they usually like, let's exercise more and cut out sugar and go for more steps. But one of them is actually also get good sleep and cut out caffeine for a month and see how that feels. And it's funny because, people talk about coffee like it's crack sometimes. Like, I need my coffee. Like, I'm not okay without my coffee.
Replace the word coffee with crack,
or like even something
or
more
alcohol.
Alcohol is probably a more mainstream.
Imagine if people, and some people do, but imagine if everybody talked about alcohol the way they do about coffee. They wake up in the morning, they're like, oh, I need my fucking whiskey. Where's my fucking bottle of whiskey? Oh my God, I can't function. Like, they get to work and they just have their sunglasses on and they say to their fucking boss, where's that whiskey bottle? Hey, I can't handle customers until I've had my whiskey. You'd be like, whoa, bro, is everything okay, man? Do we need to get you into Alcoholics Anonymous? Yeah, imagine if there's like Coffee Anonymous.
But it is. It's a very addictive substance that don't necessarily realize, and it's just a dependence. Like, I kind of quit like caffeine as a regular habit years ago, and it's probably stuck fairly well for me. Like I'll go through periods, but I'm always pretty good at saying, all right, that's enough now. Like I've been having coffees for like the last couple of weeks. Let's just turn it back to like once a fortnight if I ever have a particular day where I'm feeling especially tight. We drink decaf because I like the habit of it. The taste is fun, but I feel like it's been something really positive for us. I feel like over the last couple of years, we've both continued to work on letting go of our vices, and we've each got our own things.
Yeah. And to be clear, like none of this stuff is bad. Like a lot of the time when I say, hey, I'm not going to drink for the next couple of years and see how that feels again, you know, because I recently started drinking again and now I haven't been drinking for probably like 3 weeks or something. I'd previously gone 2.5 years without drinking. And so like I will talk about that and I'll be like, hey, you know, I'm going to cut off alcohol again and porn and caffeine and junk food. A lot of the time people hear that and they'll go, oh yeah, no, I have a lot of shame around it. And you're right, it's bad. Like alcohol is bad. Social media is bad. The media is bad. TV is bad. Netflix is bad. Like I'm not saying any of this shit is bad. It's not about good or bad. It's just a tool. It's a thing. Alcohol is a substance. Caffeine is a substance. It can be beautiful and add a lot to a lot of people's lives. Porn can add a lot to a lot of people's lives. Any of these things can add something to your life. And in my life, they just get in the way of my goals at times. Sometimes they help my goals. So when I feel like they're going to help me with my goals, I use them. When I feel like it's becoming a little bit too much and getting in the way, then I stop. So yeah, I want to make it really clear. None of this is a value judgment. And nothing we ever talk about is a value judgment. But I understand that a lot of people take it like that because it's very easy to hear someone say, oh, I'm not drinking caffeine. And then you assume what they're saying is, caffeine is evil and it's the death of you and you shouldn't have it. And because I'm not having it, you shouldn't either. But yeah, if you've been listening to this channel for a while, you know that I don't prescribe advice to you. I don't tell you what to do. Do whatever you want. But yeah, I've been cutting out caffeine.
Yeah, it's just been a positive journey for us, letting go of some of the things that we might feel dependent on. And it's been part of the process of us becoming a little bit more free or a bit more happy.
A little bit more spiritual. It's very much our spiritual journey.
Yeah.
When I say spiritual, I mean like letting go, enlightenment, walking that path, all that good shit.
And to be clear, don't give a shit if other people drink or drink coffee or do any number of things.
Do whatever makes you happy. Do whatever adds to your life and feels beautiful to you.
For sure. Did you want to tell the audience how many years we've been together since I've seen it up on the screen? And you said
we've been together 6.33333 years. Yeah, it's been great. And then one final update that we've done is we've done a couple of podcasts with 2 girls that we've been dating and sleeping with. So those are over on my YouTube. I've already put one up on my YouTube channel. Actually, by the time all of you listen to this, the other one should be up as well. So there'll be 2 videos on my channel. One was with a cosplay girl who does OnlyFans, and then one was with Bronwyn, the girl that we've been seeing for a year and a half or a year and almost 2 years. Coming up to 2 years.
2.
Yeah. Yeah, so those were lots of fun. I showed a bunch of like photos on the screen. You can see the photo shoots we did over on my blog. By the way, if none of you have been on my blog for a while, like killyourinnerloser.com, I write sex stories every time we meet a woman, every time we date and sleep together. And sometimes they write stories for my blog, and we have lots of nudie pictures in there and stuff like that. All the exciting, cool, naughty stuff. Nudie pictures. Yeah. What do you want me to say? Yeah, like nudie pictures. Like show the bits, show the pussies, show the boobs, show the penis. Well, do I show my... Sometimes my dick is in those pictures and videos, yeah? Yeah. But anyway, that's all over on my blog. There's articles and stuff over there too. So if you've never checked out my blog... By the way, if you've never checked out my blog, there's like 500 articles. I assume everyone who's listening has been on my blog at least once, because like the Tinder guide is over there.
Sure.
All of my massive guides and all
there
of
would
that's
be
over
exceptions to that.
Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of people that are listening that have never been over there. If you haven't been on my YouTube channel either, I have like... I just checked the other day. It's like 780 videos on my YouTube channel.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So there's more content on those 2 platforms than there is here on this podcast, on this like Spotify or iTunes or whatever the fuck. Apple Podcasts?
Apple Music? Apple Podcasts? I don't know.
Apple something. Apple Podcasts, whatever. There's more content over on my YouTube channel and my blog, so go check that out if you're interested. I have tons more content on like business and stuff like that as well on my YouTube channel. If you go on my YouTube channel, I have a whole bunch of playlists for different things that you might be interested in. Like I've got a business and money one. I've got a spirituality / like mindset and peace and happiness one. I have one on, we have done a lot of videos on relationships on my YouTube channel. So that's something that I never really do on this podcast. Like you and I, you don't really come on this podcast here very
Not
often.
really, no.
Yeah, so if someone's only listened to this podcast, they've basically never heard you. You've only been on here like 15 times.
Well, I was here a lot at the start as well, and it's funny. I think you actually said you did a call with somebody who only really listens to content here
On the podcast,
and we've actually been discussing
and not the YouTube channel. Yeah.
Yeah, and because for whatever reason, like the growth on Spotify, it's not really been super substantial, whereas it has been on
YouTube
YouTube.
is blowing up. YouTube's at 55,000 subscribers, if none of you know, by the way. Like, holy shit.
Yeah, so we've been talking about like potentially just mirroring content onto Spotify or not giving it a lot of attention. So it's funny to hear or hearing on that one occasion that somebody only listens to the content here.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, anyway, I'm putting, you guys listen to whatever the hell you want. Like, you know, I don't want to make you feel like you're missing out, but there is lots of content on YouTube or on my blog if you're interested in that. Like I said, all the relationship stuff, if you're interested in a relationship or building one, you and I have sat down so many times on YouTube. You've recorded content for my YouTube by yourself. There's tons of BDSM content, which we don't really put here on this podcast. It's hard to talk about BDSM without being able to show it on the screen. And so all the BDSM and sex and kink content is on my YouTube channel. So there's tons of that stuff. Yeah, that's what we've been up to. So life's pretty good.
It's fun.
Yeah, I'm super grateful. Grateful to all of you listening. I'm grateful to you, Mrs. Imogen. Grateful to the universe. I'm grateful we get to be alive. How fucking sick is it that we get to just exist?
It's nice. And I think something else that I'll say, like, maybe the last couple of months there has been some financial stress coming up, and you, Andy,
You and I, yeah.
yeah, you can put a lot of pressure on yourself, and we just get a little bit worried with the money consistency, just because obviously we are self-employed, and so you need to make sure that more money comes in so we can pay the bills, pay Cam, we have separate apartments, like there's things to pay for.
Lots to pay for. Yeah.
Yeah. And it can get us a little bit stressed sometimes. And then after periods of stress, if you push to get clients in, then you're really busy with calls. And then your time can feel really filled up, and it can take a little bit of extra effort on top of the calls to then try and bring new people in to keep up that consistency. But all of that being said, kind of what you were saying before, like the gratitude for life, I think that's something that we've both been trying to focus on, that even when there are periods of stress, we always find a way to work through it.
Yeah, every single day we talk about gratitude and focus on what we're grateful for.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, with all of this stuff going on, and obviously the community is very goal-oriented and self-improvement focused, there can often be this push of like, I need to get this thing, things aren't good, like I'm not having the things that I want in my life. But so much of what we are focusing outside of work on is just enjoying life and saying like, actually just doing the things each day, waking up, seeing the sunshine, spending time with each other, hearing these amazing stories, me going to all of my different hobbies. Like there's something really beautiful in that. And at the end of the day, we're going to be dead. And so you may as well have a nice time, because like that's what life is about. And obviously consistency financially would be great, but we'll get to that point and there'll be a new goal. And so part of all of this journey is just having a nice time.
Oh yeah, beautifully said, little miss. I am grateful.
Me too.
If anyone would like more coaching on any of these topics, I'll leave a link in the description to the coaching program. We'd love to have you. And then, like I said, maybe you can be in a photo one day, you know, you join the coaching program and maybe 2 years from now, you're in a photo with a meetup with a bunch of the other clients, and someone sends me that photo, and you could be the person that I'm looking at with kind of tears in my eyes thinking, wow, you know, I got to watch and help this person go through their beautiful journey. I'd love that for you if any of you want that. So I'll leave a link in the description below. As always, go out there, crush those goals, and have some fun while you do it.